everybody, welcome back. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're surviving your quarantine. We are starting with a wonderful story from the Bule Sioux tribe, and the title of the story is called Wakiniyantanka, the Great Thunderbird. John Fire Lame Deer, a Sioux medicine man, was about 70 when he told this tale, and the like a Legends of Devil's Tower. It bears the hallmarks of his own crusty, evocative vision. Alright, let's begin. Wakiniyantanka, the great thunderbird, lives in his teepee on top of a high mountain in the sacred Pahasapa, the Black Hills. The whites call it Harney Peak, but I don't think he lives there anymore since the Wasichu, the whites, have made the hills into a vast Disneyland. No, I think the thunder beings have retreated to the farthest end of the earth, where the sun goes down, where there are no tourists and hot dog stands. The Wakinian hates all that is dirty. He loves what is clean and pure. His voice is the great thunderclap, and the smaller rolling thunders that follow his booming shouts are the cries of his children, the little thunderbirds. 4 paths lead to the mountain on which the Wakinian dwell. A butterfly guards the entrance at the east side. A bear guards the west, a deer the north, and a beaver the south. There are 4 large old thunderbirds. The great Wakinian of the west is the first and foremost among them. He is clothed in clouds. His body has no form, but he has giant 4-jointed wings. He has no feet, but enormous claws. He has no head, but a huge sharp beak with rows of big pointed teeth. His color is black. The second Wakinian of the north is red. The third thunderbird of the east is yellow. The fourth thunderbird of the south is white, though there are some who say that its colors are blue. That one has no eyes or ears, yet he can see and hear. How that can be is a mystery. From time to time a holy man catches a glimpse of Wakinian in his dreams, but always only a part of it. No one ever sees the thunderbird whole, not even in a vision, so the way we think a thunderbird looks is pieced together from many dreams and visions. Dreams and visions. The great Wakinian's teepee stands beside the tallest of the cedar trees. Tallest of the cedar trees. Love those trees. That's why we use its foliage for the cedaring, the smoking up, in our ceremonies, which call for the sweet-smelling incense to purify our houses and ourselves. Yeah, it does smell so pure. Inside the Wakinian's teepee is a nest made of dry bones. In it lies the giant egg from which the little thunderbirds are hatched. The egg is bigger than the whole state of South Dakota. You cannot see the Wakinian because they are wrapped in robes of dark clouds, but you can feel their presence. I have often felt it. During a vision quest, they may come and try to frighten you, to see whether you have enough courage to go through your crying for a dream, your 4 days and nights and fasting and listening and staying awake top of a lonely hill. They test you this way, but the Wakinian are good spirits. They like to help people, even if they scare you sometimes. Everything in nature moves in a certain way that the whites call clockwise. Only the thunder beings move in a contrary manner, counterclockwise. That's their way. They do everything differently. That's why if you dream of the Wakinian, you become a Heyoka, an upside-down, hot-cold, forward-backward man. This gives you power, but you don't want to say a Heyoka for long. So we have a ceremony through which you can become your old self again. The Wakinian symbol is the zigzag lightning, forked at the ends, which I use in some of my rituals. It's a design I like and to which I feel in some way related, because Heyoka is also a sacred clown, and there is some of that clown nature within me. Oh, clown nature. The thunder beings are guardians of truth. When you are holding the sacred pipe and you swear on it, you can say nothing but the truth. If you lie, the Wakinian will kill you and with their lightning bolts. So thunderbirds stand for rain and fire and the truth, and it is, I said before, they like to help the people. In contrast, Unkheti, the great water monster, did not like human beings from the time they were put on this earth. Unkheti was shaped like a giant scaly snake with feet. She had a huge horn coming out of the top of her head, and she filled the whole of the Missouri River from end to end. The little water monsters who lived in smaller streams and lakes likewise had no use for humans. "What are these tiny lice-like creatures crawling over the place?" they asked. "What are these blood-clot people creeping out of the red pipestone? We don't want them around." The great Unkheti could place her body and puff it up in such a way that it made the great Missouri overflow. Interesting how they tie these beings to the Missouri River. And her children, the little water monsters, did the same with their streams and lakes. So they caused a great flood that spread over the whole country, killing most of the people. So the monsters caused a flood to get rid of humans who they saw as like pesky little blood clot creepy creatures. Only a few escaped to the top of the highest mountain, and even there the waves threatened to sweep them off. Then the great Thunderbird spoke. "What's to be done? I like these humans. They respect us. They pray to us. If they dream of us, they get a little of our power, and they make themselves relative of ours, in a way even though they are small, helpless, and pitiful. Grandfather put them on this earth for some purpose. We must save them from the Unkheti." So the Thunderbirds want to help the people survive. Then began the great battle between the Thunderbirds and the evil water monsters. It lasted many years, during which the earth trembled and the waters burst forth in mighty torrents, while the night was like day because of flashes of lightning. The Wakinian have no bodies as we imagine them, no limbs or hands or feet, but they have enormous claws. They have no mouths, but they have big sharp teeth. They have no eyes, but lightning bolts somehow shoot out of the eyes which they are not there. This is hard to explain to a Wasichu, a white man. The Wakinian use their claws, their teeth, their lightning to fight the water monsters. The Wakinian Tanka grappled with the great Ukheti, and the little thunder children were pitted against the smaller water monsters. The battle was not only long but desperate, for the Unkheti had spikes at the tip of their powerful tails that could gouge out fearful wounds as they roared and thrashed. At last the Wakinian Tanka called to the little Thunderbirds, "My children, the Unkheti are winning. This close body-to-body fighting favors them." And all the thunder beings retreated to the top of their sacred mountain and took counsel together. The great Wakinian said, "Our country is the air. Our power comes from the sky. It was wrong to fight the Unkheti on their ground, on the earth and in the water where they are all powerful. Come, my children, follow me." Interesting, this fighting them on their ground. Fight towards your advantage, not just your enemies. So the thunder beings shot off all their bolts at the same instant. The forests were set on fire, and the flames consumed everything except the top of the rock on which the humans had taken refuge. The waters boiled and dried up. That's clever. So they shot fire down, made the water hot, boiled them buggers alive. No, the waters boiled and then evaporated. The earth glowed red hot, and the Unkheti, big and small, burned up and died. Oh, so they did get burned up, leaving only their dried bones in the Makosicha, Badlands, where their bones turned to rock. Until then, the Unkheti had represented the water power, and now this power was taken by the Thunderbirds. Also, they got to absorb. The Thunderbirds took the power of the Unkheti, absorbed it, and the few humans who survived climbed down from their high rock, praising the Wakinian for saving them. These few people on the earth, all was well. The battle and the victory of the Wakinian took place in the first of the great four ages, the age of Tunka, the rock. The age of Tunka, the rock. When I was young, hardly more than a boy, I went after some horses which had somehow got lost. Following their tracks into the Badlands, I searched for many hours. I lost all sense of time and was surprised by nightfall. Suddenly, in pitch black, the clouds that were covering the moon and stars split open in the thunderstorm. The moon split open, and the stars split open. Hailstones as big as mothballs blanketed the ground with icy mush, and I thought that I might freeze to death in the summer. I happened to be in a narrow gulch where I was in danger of drowning from the rush water. As best I could, I began scrambling up toward a high ridge. I couldn't see except where there was a flash of lightning and the earth was crumbling under me. Somehow I made it. The thunder never stopped, and the lightning became almost continuous. I could smell the wakangeli, the electricity, all around. It made my hair stand up. The thunder was deafening. I straddled the ridge as if I were riding a horse. I could see enough in the lightning to know that I was very high up and the canyon was a long way down, and I was afraid of being blown off the ridge and hurled into the black nothingness. My teeth chattering, my legs and hands clamped to the razorback ridge, I moved inch by inch as I tried to get out of there. But I felt the presence of the Wakinyan. I heard them talking to me through the thunder. "Don't be afraid. Hold on. You'll be all right." Man, if someone's talking to you through the thunder, it's like, whoa, that's creative. At last the storm ended and finally dawn came. Then I saw that I was straddling a long row of petrified bones, the biggest I had ever seen. I had been moving along the spine of the great Uketi, stiff with cold. I waited until the sun warmed me. Then I scrambled down and ran toward home. I forgot all about the horses. I never found them, and I searched many times for the ridge deep inside the badlands that formed the Unkenti spine. I wanted to show it to my friends, but I never found the ridge either. Told by Lame Deer in 1969 in Winter Rosebud Indian Reservation, South Dakota, and recorded by Richard Erdos. Now that's a freaking cool story. Wakangeli, electricity. I like how Lame Deer gives you the native word for it and then the English word after. I really like that type of storytelling. The age of Tunka the Rock. So the moon and stars split open. Mysteriously can't find the ridge of all the bones again. Clash between, the forces of good and evil. Pretty typical, which is interesting. The bones turned to rock, so they became fossilized. A Wasichu, a white man. What a creative story. Wakinyan Tanka. And then there's the high mountain, the sacred Pahasapa, and the Black Hills. I love how he says that those spirits have left because there's a Disneyland there, and the spirits don't want to, be around tourists and hot dogs. That is pretty great storytelling. These creatures they describe that come to you in your dreams and visions when you do a vision quest is quite interesting. Vision quests are very auspicious.